And we should be live with our first ever podcast live. The first ever episode of the Turtle Club podcast live. Welcome, everyone. As always, I'm your host, Dylan, and today I'm here with Brandon.
Yo, yo.
Bryce.
What's up, guys?
Sam.
What's good?
Bobby.
Hello.
And Angel.
Hello.
And we're back to discuss some more stuff. So, you don't have to. So, all right. We're doing this first one live. So we have to get some questions in later and some discussion from the chat. We'll be keeping track of that and seeing what you guys are saying. But we'll start with our first topic, which is pretty much how the meta has been going in Set 21, Wild Resurgence. So we've been seeing lots of Gohan winning and topping. Frieza swaps been doing decently well. It's really the only two main decks that seem to be really topping from the main set. But there's also a lot of cards that have made an impact on the meta. So what have you guys been thinking of this recent meta going forward?
Don't all talk at once.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I like it. I'm enjoying it so far. I always like it when the new set comes out right before the meta's firmly established, but it does look like Gohan's been topping everything. I don't know if it's just because of the sheer popularity of the deck, but
that might be true.
it's what's it won 2 regionals already, right?
Yep.
Is what we were
And
saying before.
If it hasn't won, it's definitely topping.
And it's a big piece of the pie also of the top decks. So
Yeah.
and at locals we've already seen it's a menace. It's brutal to play
The
against.
first place list is already up, dude.
Yeah, dude, you get to run 8 Z cards and
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah, so Gohan seems to be like the boogeyman of the format. Seems like if you can't beat that deck, you can't really compete. Is that what you think it is?
Well, I mean, not just Gohan, but there's a couple other things like
I don't know. I would have thought the starter deck 21 that you topped with Dylan at the last regional would have made a more impactful thing with the last couple regionals.
For that deck, it just
Before
seems like
the
not
ban
many
list.
people just like playing it because it always does well, but it seems like very little people actually play the deck. So
It is
I
a
think
bit
that's
of a
just what
slower
it is.
deck.
It's kind of like
That's true,
Invoker,
too.
where Invoker's always very good, but just nobody wants to play it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty time-centric, right?
Yeah, it is.
You have to
Can
see
Gohan
all your
just
pieces.
destroy 21?
That's the question, right?
I
Maybe
think
it's cleared out of the room entirely.
Life Burn is for the resource game because 21 doesn't draw a lot of cards.
Right.
It starts
That
to,
could be it too.
and the unison is usually because the unison's the draw engine, right, Dylan? That fuels a lot of your draws and your
yeah, you basically draw 2 on both turns every turn.
Yeah,
And
so-
what the
that
green
is.
Gohan deck just hits the unisons, right?
oh yeah, it's got a free play guy that rips 2 markers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Units
Right
are
off
not
the-
living
right
this
off the bat.
format at all. So
Same
pretty
thing
much
with
out.
Golden Frieza, probably too. Honestly,
Yeah, Golden Frieza. There's no way Golden Frieza can get through getting every play counterplayed or interrupted. I mean, when you let Golden Frieza do its thing, it's degenerate. But if you can interrupt every single play like Red used to be able to do, and then now Green is back in the mix doing it again, it's gonna be really tough. I mean, it'll crap on everything else though. Don't get me wrong. I tried it out the other day.
Against Blue, it's
Felt
so good.
Pretty gross. Still, especially
to
with
the
that
level.
new card.
Let's just say it's not to the level of Red Sin or SS4 Gogeta where it feels like there's no shot if you don't have the stuff. I don't think it'll dominate like that, but it's
I
good.
still think it's just gonna need some getting used to. Still, it's still fairly new. So I mean, once people figure it out, and it's still gonna be hard to beat no matter what. But it'll be more getting used to, maybe with the best of one sides with how they're doing the format now and siding right. It may have
Yeah.
a better chance with your.
Yeah, learning the
Other
matchup's going to be
green ones.
important, but then also, it just seems it's aggressive. Like, well, it's not really aggressive right off the bat, but it puts you behind right off the bat. Green Gohan, so you can't play those extra greedy or blue decks to like turtle up early on because you can't really develop your hand
especially going
against
second, it's probably pretty hard.
it. Yeah, that seems
The
getting.
new blue strategy against that is just trying to out resource the Green Gohan deck.
Just draw as many cards as you
Hard
can.
to
to
do.
begin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe the Nature of Evil 21 deck will be pretty good against the tapping the green stuff, but I haven't really. I played with 21 last format, so I haven't really played against Green Gohan, so I'm not really too sure about the matchup yet. But
Yeah, we got to
could be
try that
another one
out.
that does good. Does good.
Yeah, it seems like in theory 21 should have a decent time against Gohan, since half your cards are green specified, so it helps. But I don't know. Green's always been a really good matchup against blue, so
And yellow. Slower stuff gets chewed up
yeah.
if they can't push earlier on. So that's going
Yeah,
to be
just
tough. It's cool that
sorry.
Black Trunks has it seems to be a positive matchup into it, right? Is that a good matchup, Bobby, or is it just easy?
It depends on. I mean, if Gohan goes first, it's tough to climb uphill. If you can keep your unison established and kind of get ahead and clear board, but even playing against Dylan today, it's just I didn't deal a single damage to him in one game and he won, but he's able to take all of his life. You know, he awakens from 8 to 6, and then he awakens from 6 to 4. It would be nice if you could stall it out.
If you could hold them, yeah, that's the thing that I think maybe people didn't realize. Maybe when they were looking at it, they were like, "Oh, you still pay 1 for the Z Awaken and go to," but you don't do it when you're at 4. You take down to 4 to do it, so it's always accessible to you. That always seemed kind of broken to me. That like you're never held out of your awaken conditions. You know what I mean? You don't play into it.
You can petrify the boss monster, so that helps, but everything in that deck is fairly cheap. You know, everything costs 1 or is free or whatever, so they don't have to commit to the boss monster to get ahead. And
Yeah,
the
I think
counterplay
we're
kills your unison. There's just a lot. It can be one. It's not, I would say it's 50-50 depending on players. It's not like, yeah.
I mean, I think where green's taking that turn, where like how yellow's taking that turn with a lot of good, just generic stuff. Now green's just assembling over the years. Now that green has just got to that point.
It's been building, just waiting for the right leader, and here we are.
It's nice to play against green and not get charismatic villain, though. We'll say that.
Yeah, they're gonna pay 1 for charismatic villain, so
yeah.
No need for unison in that one. I mean, yeah, just the generic. I mean, it's got. I mean, dormant. I don't even know if people still running in Green Gohan. Like, you probably just run.
Probably need to run dormant now because of Frieza swap. Honestly,
might be a good sideboard card. Yeah.
Yeah,
because I mean,
a card on that one probably doesn't do too much against that deck, so it does draw a lot. But still, I mean, and those can slot in any green leader. Like, it doesn't even have to be Gohan. I mean, I'm sure there's probably another green leader out there that's gonna maybe rise to the occasion. Like, I know we're talking about OG Broly.
Has anybody tried Green Piccolo yet? King Piccolo?
KP with the new stuff. Well, all he really got was the secret rare, though.
Mm-hmm.
None of the other new stuff. Well, I guess you can run the Goku Gohan in there too, but I mean, Faded Rivals probably still.
Green Broly seems okay, but I mean, why play any other Green Saiyan leader right now when you have Green Gohan?
Yeah, Gohan just gets extra stuff off all those cards.
Yeah.
So even though it's generic stuff, the Gohan gets the generic stuff plus the extra effects. You know, the burn happens without an issue.
Yeah, it's a draw rare combo for free. You know what I mean? So
skills aren't negated, so it's a triple strike and then a double strike plus your 40k.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they do hit Green Gohan later, big if, I'm not saying they will, then Green Broly might be really cool to see just because of all the stuff that it has now. But like I said, why play another Green Saiyan leader?
It's the generic leader that Green has been waiting for. You can craft the deck to fit your playstyle. The engine is not overbearing. So there's a lot of different ways to play it. We've seen, surprise attack and the Frieza Xeno chain in there, and we've also seen it played a little bit slower, control, recycling super combos. So,
I mean, compared to the last 3 leaders that just got banned, freaking Gohan seems like a fun day in the park, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't feel impossible the whole time, but then because it feels like you're doing stuff at first, and then all of a sudden you lose on turn 4. It's just bizarre.
Yeah, it also has pretty much
all the value.
It also pretty much has like an answer to everything, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
like it answers barrier really easily. It pops like stuff so much. It's a lot.
It's a very toolboxy deck.
Every card is like double strike, so It's a lot of pressure, like really early
Yeah,
on
it's got a
too.
Yeah,
lot
see,
of stuff built into it for sure.
yeah, it seems like with the way the meta's going, just seems like around turn 5 is usually when the games are ending now. Before
Yep.
they would last until turn 7 or turn 8 or whatever. Now
Well, I
it's
guess
just
depending on
kinda,
what you played, right? I guess Sin surviving turn 3 was hard enough, and against Gogeta, yeah, anything past turn 4, I mean that was you were getting Seeker rared and then Gogeta clear board triple strike, and then Gamma. Yeah, Gamma will take you long, but I feel like it's all deck dependent, but there are a lot of like big powerhouse decks. I mean, not even just Green Gohan, but I think like didn't like Blue Baby top and some stuff like that. So it's still kind of being figured out, but Green Gohan definitely taking a huge part of the regionals and wins, right?
But the other
I
deck
mean,
that's
you
been
can't forget.
topping a lot is Frieza Swap as well. It's been doing some good numbers, right?
Yeah, you can't forget about Majin Vegeta too.
Yeah, nothing on that got touched, and that goes in way earlier than anything else right now. So that's pretty. If you see all the stuff, but
I
that's
mean,
the pretty scary turn into
I'm personally a big fan of Frieza Swap, but I think because of how new it is, and maybe a lot more people are playing Frieza Swap instead of Majin Vegeta. I mean,
Yeah,
Majin
swapping
Vegeta
over.
could still be many times better than Frieza Swap. I have no idea.
On
Unless
early
that's-
turns, I feel like it can take it earlier, but Frieza Swap is just so consistent. It feels like every time you're gonna see just about everything you need, and then it's so much draw so fast.
It
So
does a
much
little
push.
bit. It does I feel like it does everything, and at like good times too.
And
Like
it's a yellow
especially
deck that
searching the
pops
Mecha
stuff.
Frieza.
Yeah.
That's like the most busted thing I think. Searching that, I think that Mecha Frieza is probably going to get hit on the next ban list.
Most likely, I would imagine. They should
least-
hit. They should hit most floodgates, to tell you the truth. I've been playing these last few weeks a lot of decks with no floodgates, and it's just
Abysmal.
because they can't run them, and it's so much harder to play when you got a combo out of everything. You've got to space your negates out right. It's still possible to win, so it's not like floodgates are like the end all be all of what makes a good deck, but having them is just such a huge difference. They should look at either limiting all of them or like outright banning them.
I don't know. Just
Making-
knowing how Bandai does things, I feel like they're not going to do that.
Yeah, you might be right. I feel like printing more free negates or something would be a good idea instead of this floodgate stuff.
Printing stronger negates and then getting rid of the floodgates is funny. Like the Kamehameha deflections are really good non-floodgate.
Dude,
negate.
crazy green negate.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a stupid card also.
guaranteed 2 of in most green decks.
Yeah, maybe like a yellow negate that like taps your opponent's active mode guys or something. Who knows? Like
Keep
crap
something
like
pinned.
that. Yeah.
Maybe they just need to bring it back.
interruption.
Probably just need to bring it back to when we first started with counterplays and was that multicolors. Just everything was like tap 2 or tap 3 or something like that. Oh, it's not so crazy. Or
I
They
think
have
make it
taps associated. These like the yellow with Mecha, where you just get the tap 1, there's no tax.
It's
Why?
easily interrupted, but yeah. Also,
or maybe
yellow-
make it more
yellow
like how the
tap
green
log.
negate is, the green floodgate that they just came out with.
Yeah,
where
make
it's
it.
not like
Yeah.
it's horrible, but it's still doable.
Yeah, pitch 1 or
type of
something.
thing
But
with the maybe how because Z cards.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
the chat,
something to
Cedric
do with that.
says the problem is the offensive cards or the offensive cards are too strong, so the defensive cards have to be crazy as well. Do we agree
That
with
is true. I do, but does any deck go wide anymore? You know what I mean? Like, there's
no deck can go wide.
I mean,
There's
really,
some-
AOD
decks
is like
that
the
go
only
wide are
one,
going to
right?
get punished. I feel like the floodgate stuff just doesn't feel right. I get it. No, and I agree with him. The offensive cards are still. I mean, and the game is offensive. That's like what it is. It pays to you get more out of pushing than you get out of pushing back. You know?
Is that how it is now, though?
Yeah,
in
definitely.
This format, you feel like you still get more value pushing.
Yeah, because they have to use resources to deal with your card that you've put on board, is swinging, threatening life, and on top of doing all that is probably doing something else, either drawing you a card or popping something of theirs. You know, it's like that's the push and pull right now.
I guess.
So-
I think that's the issue, is that just all of the bosses, and not even all the bosses, just the generic cards, have too many effects. Like fucking Oob, like the 8-cost Oob, remove 3 cards and draw a card for 2
Yeah,
energy.
that card is
What
stupid.
the fuck?
And I mean, that one punishes you for countering, so maybe they could do something like that. Like if you're under the effect of a floodgate, this card does this for you, kind of like the Gamma card or that Oob or the Gamma Cell, maybe stuff like that. But yeah, you do need ways to protect yourself. Otherwise, games would end just way too fast. A lot of these cards with like dual attack, double strike, pretty quick. You know, the burn and stuff going on. A lot of early crits.
And now making Z leaders 20k is strong on its own because they're power scaling like the dual attack guys and all that stuff to be 20ks.
Yeah, going into a 20k is tough.
Yeah. So
Yeah, requiring you to push more resources in to try and kill them. So you
Yeah, I
have
mean,
less
like
to defend
if
yourself
you
with
keep
on
in
the correct
mind that Gohan's a 20k, and then you have the floodgate that makes you get rid of a card in hand, it's basically like you're pitching to. You know what I mean? Because you have to commit one more card than you would normally on top of everything, plus you're negging one. So it's like a sneakier way of making your opponent neg as quickly as possible, where they don't feel
Yeah.
as bad when they're doing it, but they're still kind of doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that like the green floodgate was you have to pitch one to activate it, and then if you're tapped out, you have to pitch another one.
If you want to free activate it, yeah.
Yeah, free activate it. So I mean that's like kind of a hard neg, especially.
If you're not Gohan, yeah, because Gohan draws one on activation of that card. So. But
For
yeah,
I'm just saying for like colors and like all the colors all around in general, maybe have something that's like you guys were talking about before.
it costs more to activate.
Hurtful,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea either. They still need to exist in some capacity because there's some decks can just turn on the heat way too fast.
Yeah.
They also need to do something about all this removal.
Yeah, Mecha Freeze is just crazy right now, I feel like.
The removal's they either gotta tone it back or start printing a shitload of cards that do stuff when they die. Because I feel like that's the only solution for all of this stuff. Yeah, you committing to the board is just like almost a neg if they don't draw a card. I mean, you have to do it so you can deal damage. I get it, and I guess that's why it'll inherently always be something you have to do. But no card lives. Barriers, like, I have not had Cooler live like one time. The freaking Barrier Cooler for green.
One?
That card does not live. It's just too easy to get rid of. Indestructible cards. I know that's a common complaint. Like they don't live either against yellow or red.
Everything now. It feels like everything now in the game has some form of barrier removal. So it's like it's getting
Some specific decks though, like red. I don't know. Like okay, obviously
red has the least.
We just got rid of 2 big powerhouse reds. Like I can't even complain. But out of everything, even black feels, I'm assuming, better. I mean, black can beat green, apparently, out of testing. Like, when I played Pan, which is supposed to be, like, the best red deck right now, I just felt helpless. Like, I have no floodgates. I can't stop the stuff you guys are doing. I just have to just eat stuff. And I have no berry removal. So getting rid of...
they just need to come out with another red deck.
I mean... Yeah, but it's like I don't know when the time is to bring another crazy red deck in, but
It'll
like
be soon.
I can't get rid of coolers. I can't get rid of anything.
I
mean, that's just how green has been for the longest time too. Yeah. So it's
like red has a ton of good generic tools right now. Like you said though, it just needs another leader to push it over the edge.
I think that's.
And I feel like that's just a bad matchup too, Brandon. So.
Plus, also like a decent core. Usually, decks nowadays just have like a decent core instead of.
What were you saying, Bryce?
I think that's where we're at. Not like format wise, but like every color has really good generic cards now to the point where it's kind of like just generic stuff deck in every deck. You know, like Soul Striker, Blue Trunks, Yellow Trunks, Cheetah. Yellow Frieza Swap obviously is a different thing, but that's a very heavy archetype heavy deck, and Blue Baby is archetype heavy. But most of the stuff that's topping, like top 1, 2, and 3, is just generic stuff.
And why play Blue Baby when those generic cards exist?
Yeah, that's
why play Oob when you can put the Oob cards in a better deck?
Well, I know that's
it has to have an engine or something.
Well, I know that's how most people prefer playing the game, right? They prefer like making their own spicy tech decks and not having to use like a whole archetype to take up your entire deck, so you can't really fit much in there. That's how people like playing the deck game.
It gets repetitive if you keep doing it that way, though.
Well, no, I don't think so. Because then that's when the game can, like, the decks can change in the middle of a format. You know what I mean? Like, certain things fall out of favor from a generic core. It's like, oh, well, this card that, even though it's great, like UI Kamehameha or something like that, it's like, well, that's not that good right now. I could swap that out for this other tool. It feels, I like building my own deck, the good stuff decks and stuff like that, but it is a good idea to have archetypes in there that they do freshen things up. It's like, oh, I can beat green, but I can't beat, KP because KP's got too much aggression or something like that. Like, if it's still nice to, it's nice to have both. I wouldn't say, but when it's all archetypes, I feel like that's definitely the worst. That's just
all archetypes is the
coin
worst. And all
tosses.
generic is also boring.
But
There's
even
no-
the generic blue deck, this set like Soul Striker, if you're playing Soul Striker, you got the My TP and you got the 8-drop Oob, two new cards. Plus you got, not everyone runs it, I guess, but the baby Z card that for one is Barrier, and that
Yeah,
enables
yeah.
17. Similar to the Android 20, I think, in green. That's Barrier,
Yeah.
one cost.
Yeah.
So there are new generic cards being printed, so it does spice it up a little bit, but to still be seeing Soul Striker
after
these decks, it's like,
nerfs and a half, yeah.
but it's still the best value.
It's just whoever can slot power cards in the best. Yeah.
Draws your card untaps too. I mean, that's why Golden Frieza is so good. Draws you card untaps too. I mean, it's just free energy.
Yeah, more energy is
That's why
always good.
Gamma was a big thing, untapping 3. I mean, it's crazy Android cards.
It's just the best.
That's why I
mechanic
like
in the game.
Swap a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I like
mean-
Swap so much. It's freaking, you draw so much, you see every card. Like, I play so many one-ofs, and I can't tell you how many times I've like seen Piccolo Gohan, my Overrealm, Cooler, Onslaught all in the same game. And then
Oh,
I do
yeah.
the same, do the same stinking play every game on turn 4. Z Awaken, Z Awaken, go into the 8-drop, go into Piccolo Gohan, go into freaking the Overrealm, and then go into Oolong. And it's just like you just see everything you need. Plus, like I said, Mecha Frieza turn 2. Like, it's just like, what do you do?
Yeah, it's like nearly an unstoppable turn if you can get all that at once. Which is definitely the strong suit of Frieza swap.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because it doesn't even have a cooler behind it. It's just absurd, right? Like without shutting down a whole negate.
Yeah, I
too.
mean, when I played against Dylan this last weekend, he played his Floodgate negate, the green one, and I think I pushed through like
yeah,
so many swings, like maybe 6, 7, 8 swings, something like that.
yeah. You pitched 8 cards and still won.
And I still won.
Yeah,
Like, that's just insane.
So
At
do you
least
guys-
that Z leader goes away, though.
Yes.
So
Oh
bad.
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Like, if
That's
you're
the
win-
one
if you're
thing I
winning
think
that turn,
Gohan and Red Sin have in common. They both have broken Z leaders.
So now I will say this: would you have beaten him had he been using the looping super combos? Because I mean, clearly he didn't have.
I'm
it.
not
That's-
sure. It's hard to say because you got like the early part of the game where because you don't forget too, like the little guy swings that are 19k, they're actually 24k, and if you get like a 10k 8-drop or something, that's a 10k
Mhm.
combo.
Yeah.
It's a 29k swing early game when they
Yeah.
want to combo out. So
Yeah.
it's like what? That's just insane. I think that's even more broken than the end of the game plays, because like, okay, that's coming, so you got to prepare to stop for it, but it's like, how do you stop for it when you have to like get around these little swings that are done? And like I said, it's like you can't even really do much because you have to get ready for like the Mecha Frieza or the Vegito that's going to come, because the leader just searches the Mecha Frieza off top 5, not even just a swap card. You can just search the post. So it's like how much can you really do? And then now that we're playing that 2-drop sorbet, okay, you get rid of my guy, guess what? I'm gonna play it and play a 1-drop for free. And now instead of having to play a one tap 1 for a 1-drop the following turn,
Yeah.
you already have a free one out there, so you can just do your whole play again for practically nothing.
Yeah, 1 or 2 energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because before, if you could just get rid of that 1-drop, because I mean, Dylan counterplayed my sorbet the 1 game, which I thought was a good idea, but it's like now he wasted a card to play around this
energy
little
or a life.
sorbet.
Yeah, to play
Yeah,
around
so
a one
it's like,
cost.
yeah, which was nothing. I'm like, I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can counterplay that. It's not that big a deal. Like, I'm not really. Then I just played it differently, and then next turn, I just tapped one for the one drop barrier swap guy, and I left 2 open. And I just passed, and
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
just
be
defended hard. I think I Mecha Freezed it and Vegito at the same time, in the same turn. I mean, so
there's some brutal decks right now.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys
But
think?
yeah, I don't think it's,
Do you think
tier
going
0.
first in this meta is like a really big advantage?
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
it still matters a lot if your deck has really powerful aggressive cards. Then going first is like a huge advantage, especially if the other deck doesn't have like the absurd defense that blue or yellow have. That one turn where you're at 4 and they're at 3, or you're at 3 and they're at 2. Those, I feel like those 2 turns are the really tough ones.
Yeah, it seems like most
deal
turn
with it
threes
when
you
your
can really
opponent
just
goes first.
push in there and take advantage of your opponent either being tapped out or only having one open to defend themselves. Like it's pretty egregious sometimes. Like with freeze to swap especially, like you can swing a lot on turn 3. Your opponent cannot do much to defend themselves. So
Yeah, depending on what they're doing, like depending if they're tapped out, I'm gonna go in a little bit harder, even if I have to tap out all of my energy because I know I have all these 5Ks in my hand. So it's like,
Yeah, you
and
got
possibly, yeah, and sometimes possibly. So usually when you go off against swap, you want to try to keep them at 6 because you can't go into your Z leader like that because you have to be under 4 energy. So it's like, okay, if you're at 5, then you keep a token negate in your hand and you could just be able to awaken next turn. A lot of the times I just let them take. Like a lot of the times I would just normally like you would want to combo out of it or something like that. It's like, okay, I'll just take this instead because I need to get down to 4.
Yeah,
So
to be
it's-
awakened.
to be able to awaken. There's also cards like I know last set when I was doing it when I was playing the 21 deck with the 4-drop, you put the triple strike underneath and somebody would tap out and I would just take advantage of it.
Yeah, going first still too
Yeah.
good. They probably need to find a way to balance it. Maybe you can't swing on turn 2. No, wait. I mean, that would be bad. What am I trying to say here?
yeah. maybe just leaders swing, but who knows? I don't know. Because most
So what
leaders
do you
don't
guys think
attack,
about
though.
the looping super combos? Do you think that's something we need to worry about? Something that needs to be dropped or banned?
I haven't seen it in Green Gohan used yet. I haven't like watched a video of somebody abusing it in that.
Ratesy won
seems-
with it.
You've seen it. How bad did it?
Yeah,
seem?
Robert Ratesy won the only in-person regional, I think, all besides Australia. He won.
that's
Looping
gonna
it.
be-
It's an
I
issue.
mean, it feels stupid in Broly Surge where you can extra abuse it. I'm sure it's stupid in that deck because it's just the best green leader, period, like probably ever. I can't. I mean, it's felt gross every time I've used it. I can't imagine it's going to stick around.
Yeah.
Like
They'll
that good,
probably-
that good 21 deck is still around, and that one does it even worse than
Yeah, we know how bad that one is
that
too.
deck. Yeah, so
As far as like a emergency ban or something like that, I don't see that happening because there's not
No.
so much. There's not so much regionals going on. Even online regionals, there isn't so much going on. Maybe like 1, maybe 2 a month, if that.
yeah, they'll pick
Well,
up
I
again
mean-
here soon. I think in August they start happening more often again.
They'll usually Bandai will just like. Have they e-banned something before? I feel like they have. I can't
Two
remember
things,
though.
just the Vegex stuff, and I think King Vegeta.
Yeah,
That's
so I mean,
it.
they have
Yeah.
did it. Maybe if Dragon Ball was like more active, like how it used to be back then, they could probably e-ban it. But as far as now, it's like nothing. There's not a lot really going on, so it's like, why would they do it?
Was it last year when they came out with the errata for the ultimate dragon slaying bullet or whatever that card
They
number?
did, yeah, they did do it in the middle of. Yeah,
Oh yeah, because the
I
card text
guess
was like
that's another
wrong.
emergency.
Someone
So yeah, I mean, I guess they do it, but like I said, not really too many events right now. I feel like so. They
yeah,
probably
nothing
just
that,
wait.
that would make it stick out super hard, other than the fact that it
Yeah.
definitely isn't intended. But
Now, if you were to tell me 50% of the 50% of the top was freaking Gogeta's, I mean not Gogeta's, the Loop Super Combo decks, then
Yeah,
that
yeah,
probably
something would
warrants
happen.
something.
yeah,
But when you
something-
got when DBS is still having maybe what 3 Gohan's top or something like that out of a top 16, it's like they're not gonna do nothing.
Well, you
Yeah.
see even like the green Gogeta deck, like the main reason that's been topping a lot is because the looping super combos. So it's pretty.
But that was before, right? I mean, nobody's even bothering to play that bullshit now that the new Gohan's out, right?
No, I'm pretty sure I've seen still they've been topping.
Still a few people
I
trying
think
it.
they have.
Can
Some
it
events.
loop it like extra times with the Gogeta cards? Is there like in archetype stuff there that adds Gogetas back from drop?
I think it might be the Vegeta's are searchable or something, but I'm not
It's
entirely sure.
yeah. And then
I know, I
I've
mean-
seen that the Broly Surge list where you can loop it like 16 times or something like that with the
Yeah.
Vekus. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's another deck that I haven't really seen too much topping with, is the Broly Surge deck.
yeah,
Seems
it
like-
can't be Gohan, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems it's pretty crazy,
Yeah.
but like I can't get through that, I don't think.
Yeah, it
I haven't
seems like
tried-
normally you save a couple spots in your deck for like whatever the deck's worst against. So it's like you might as well might as well play something that's gonna freaking stop Green Gohan, because it seems like that deck's gonna be the deck to beat this format.
But I mean, like, there's no silver because it does all of it. It blows up your stuff, makes you pitch
Yeah.
cards, and then pressures with giant swings that
Yeah.
are double strike. It burns also for some fucking reason. So
Yeah. Like for me, for yellow playing swap, I've seen the couple ideas of like the Mutaido, but that's just one example. I think that's something that you could play. It's not really bad in your deck. It's a 5K combo, so it's
that's
nothing
definitely a
horrible.
good option for the Gohan boss monster because that saves you a burn. It saves you a lot.
Yeah, it saves a lot of stuff. So maybe have to play around the green Gohan deck a little bit. Have to put stuff in. That's just how it's always been in. I feel like every game. Honestly, you have to play stuff that your worst matchup is against.
Yeah, just some tech options.
Yeah.
A crutch, but like green and red, they don't have. Unless you're another Green Gohan, you don't have an answer for that boss monster tree. You're just gonna eat that pretty much. So just
Yeah.
combo out or some shit. I guess I don't know. But yellow and blue, as usual, have more answers than the aggressive colors do. Black
Almost
surprisingly
decks-
has a good one.
Yeah, Black has Pet's rotation, but most decks are just side and Deborah, right? That seems to be.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is the
Black
discarding
version.
like really that like impactful against like
But then
going up
they
against?
side in Coit,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
now
yeah.
your counterplay that you were talking about. I don't know how to say his name, but he just.
But that's fine. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine too,
Coit.
dude. If they tap one for a Quetzalcoatl, then I'll be like, all right, now they can't go as crazy as they would. And
Feel like you'd rather warp 2 than take a burn and get out of a 35k double.
yeah,
Just play
Probably.
a deck where you only have to charge 2 energy. Good.
hey, just play 3 Han and just charge 3.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's one way to
3
get out
Han's
of that.
another deck that's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. Everything is looking pretty good. I mean, there's that Gohan deck is ahead, and probably yellow and general's ahead. But I mean, stuff feels nice right now. There's a lot of experimentation, a lot of cool stuff moving. I like where the game is now compared to last format, at the very
much
least.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel good moving forward.
Well, now that Sid and Gogeta are gone, what about the red representation? Like, we're mostly just been seeing Pan, right? Nothing really else.
Just seems like the best generic leader, but I'm sure, like Brandon said, you're not seeing it in a lot of places, so they're gonna have to look elsewhere, I think. Although,
Yeah.
I mean, Defender of Life is so stupid.
It's very good still, and apparently A13 is supposed to be good too. But again, it's just not a lot of barrier removal. The floodgates for red, like KVIP, just gets really kind of crapped entirely. It's not really that good when you're swinging with like 30Ks, 25Ks, all that crazy stuff. And then Violent Rage, I mean, that got nerfed to 30K or more. I mean, that might be good now.
You might be.
I
Yeah.
don't know, but
Yeah, it
not
might be,
really
yeah.
enough to be like, hey, let me pitch 2 from my hand and hopefully I don't die, because you just swing with lower stuff, 25Ks, 20K, it doesn't matter.
I don't know what's
Is
the
KVIP like a perfect example of like a good floodgate that doesn't need to get banned if they banned all floodgates?
Yeah, it's like
yeah, I agree.
that's a good one.
The new
I-
green
very good.
update should have a similar clause to KVIP, where you have to be a 3 or less to activate it for free.
But is anybody really activating it for free?
The the green Gohan to get?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it only
I feel
works
like
at 4 less life anyway, so
Yeah.
you can't
You're
go
already.
above.
You've done
Yeah,
it for no matter what.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
Green
but
Gohan does. Other decks don't have it early on.
you also
It would be
you also
nice
did
to
discard
one-
2 cards to activate the floodgate effect and use it for free, so it's not
Yeah.
like a
But you draw a card.
Yeah, it's not like
Gohan.
KVIP where you can just pay one and nothing happens, and then, or you can just use it for free by pitching one card. You always at least have to pitch for it. But I mean, in Gohan, yeah, you do draw it back, so it's a little better in that deck.
I don't know why they put that on there, but whatever.
It's an auto too, so
Yeah, it's just that one's dumb. What about in Pan playing the Piccolo Goku, getting a bean on your leader and then KVIPing, and then
That's
violent
cool.
and then
still-
violent raising, and then that
Yeah,
way
right.
you,
Yeah. Keep
like an 18 card.
multiple open.
then
just-
you're safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Still doesn't matter.
I think there's room for other red decks. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bulma creep in here.
yeah, it does the
It's
same thing
just,
with recycle super
defend
combos.
for your
So.
life. I mean, you can recycle those, guaranteed.
U7 Gohan feels like that might
I
be
do want to try that. It's always
draws a
been
lot of
fun.
cards.
It
Yeah,
sure
if you
does.
see your stuff, yeah.
What about old U7 deck?
Has anyone tried launch yet? That seemed gross before set 18 came out.
Yeah, with sitting Gogeta Gun probably a lot better. Just being
Yeah,
10k
'cause it
against
drives me
these
insane.
giant swings though that people are throwing at you, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, but I've seen that when people were playing it before the Zenkai stuff came out on Untap, they were negging like 30Ks through barrier with just looping coolers and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Seemed pretty
red blue.
funny. Yeah, draw into like 20 cards in hand. I know I feel like there's a lot of room for experimentation right now. But yeah, red is definitely, they got to figure something out. The old strats don't work now that everybody knows exactly what you've got, you know what I mean? So, and they didn't exactly get much new stuff.
Yeah, it seems that mostly red's like lacking the removal that the other colors have, which is strange to say after Gogeta and Sin. But now that those are gone, you don't have much removal other than like Gohan counterplay.
Yeah, nothing
the
like on
wish
the
deck.
spot removal. Nothing like huge board clear. I mean, getting through barrier with Gogeta was crazy, and then also Sin being able to do it on their turn was crazy. But now you just really don't have that ability to do it at all.
They've got removal. I feel like for non-barrier cards, they've got plenty of removal.
Like what?
The Gohan counterplay is one of the
Yeah,
most
okay.
retarded cards
I mean,
ever made.
You just play around it. You hold one open
It's
and red. you
pretty
go
hard to
into
play
that.
around it. Dude. It's if you're not playing yellow or like cards that just shit out barrier guys, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, if you're not playing T-Blow. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to answer it. It's like it's a pretty good card.
So what
And then
about
your own
blue?
turn is fun.
So blue, we have blue. We obviously have Soul Striker probably the best blue deck, right?
Who knows? Could be
Or
could be
21.
Could be 21.
Or 21, yeah.
Good, evil. I mean, blue's got.
That's a good couple
maybe
decks,
most-
honestly, Blue. You guys,
Yeah.
what, Soul Striker and both 21 decks, and also
Even
3
Trunks
Ons
is
creeping
pretty
in
good
there.
now. Reboot Trunks is nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good too.
they've got.
Reboot
they've got
Trunks
a
is
lot.
nice because you can play the 6-drop Oob, whereas in Soul Striker you can't.
Yeah, that Oob is so good. Any
And
deck that
size
can
is
fit that
smaller
in,
though.
then Soul Striker.
Yeah, I think Soul Striker. Still
Yeah, but
just
you
improves
don't
the
have
most
to
value.
take down. You don't have to take down to 4 either, which is pretty nice.
Well, Soul Striker to me feels like what deck is not swinging at you, where you're not. If they're not swinging at you, you're in the driver's seat anyway, right? Unless they can really corner you into one turn where they can catch you, but it doesn't feel like you have to run a whole bunch of Self-Awakeners in Soul Striker. You can just hang out, and they'll put you to 4 when they put you to 4, and then you start playing your game. Trunks has a lot of awakening abilities. I think there's 4 awakened conditions for the Trunks future deck, but
Yeah, the Trunks leader.
and
can
the
flip over
spot
and-
removal. The spot removal is nice for tapping 2.
Yeah, draw one extra
anything.
one. Get rid of whatever you want. Untapping at the end so you can tap out for something on your own turn. That's always good. It's like you're playing on one ahead.
I'm glad they got rid of Boo, because that card would be insane right now with the trio card running around. Just tap 1 to remove barrier from whatever someone swings with, and then boo it away.
Yeah, I think Carl said it. I think Carl said this, where it's like, if you're not a blue leader that untaps energy, then you're not gonna be the best of the blue decks, right? Because all the best blue
Yeah,
decks do
that's
that.
that's the what makes blue good is being able to untap the energy. So whichever one untaps the most is gonna be the best one because then you can play more cards. You can defend yourself better. And they got, I mean, a smorgasbord of floodgates, removal, barrier cards. They have the best toolbox, I think. Either that or yellow. Them and yellow are neck and neck in that regard. So
I mean, blue
Yeah.
baby on paper seems like it should be pretty crazy because you're allowed to be aggro, then also have just Android 17 for their turn. So
yeah, D Magix, Android 17, all that stuff. But I don't know. Stuff doesn't have barrier. Hands are too big. Maybe is the problem that you can't get through with like super wide swings. They're 20Ks though. They're like 15-20s. There's a 35 double striker.
yeah, Z leader's really good.
Yeah, there's a maybe it just needs some more playtesting, or maybe it'll. We'll see. I feel like because you put the guys under the field and then you can draw into your deck, right? So like you basically get the non-archetype cards into your hand to activate while you have your archetype stuff in your second hand to play from. That's the idea.
Yeah, you go through your deck really fast. Like you basically draw 3 like every turn. It's pretty nuts.
In essence, yeah.
It's also locked behind a TP, so it's possible that people just have not gotten the cards yet. To be interesting to see this weekend in Wisconsin if that deck puts in some work.
Yeah, we got to see a couple more regionals before I discount it entirely. It seems super strong to me on paper, and I mean playing against it, it's pretty scary. I was playing green though, so
Even set 10 Zamasu. My buddy Peter topped with that in Australia.
dual
That
attacker.
deck, dual attacker, yeah, playing the Zamasu Unison, where you can use the new
Oh, yeah.
TP to recycle.
Strong.
You can put out a lot of aggression there. There's ways to, there's different decks to play. At least now it seems like there's more creativity than what it was with those 3 leaders existing at the top of the format. Now you
Yeah,
can-
I mean, like I
can
said,
try stuff
Gogeta's
out.
just Gogeta specifically was such a huge gatekeeper. You were not allowed to play like the majority of the decks in the game. I feel like just because they could not, there was no way you could stand up to the 8 cost in a 16 card hand, and
Yeah,
now you
just
can. So you can do like
forced you to
weird
play
shit.
blue.
Yeah. What is there? What else?
So for black, it's really only Trunks Cena, right? It's really only that. That's like
I think people
I
are
think
playing
so.
Gogeta.
No, just in general, this set stuff that does support. I would
Oh,
love to
yeah.
see someone play Mechi Tabora to great success. I'll be curious. It does have answers to certain things in the format. Drop manipulation is always pretty strong depending on the matchup. But I haven't seen any results of that, and Token Toa is not there. Sadly, I tried.
You gave that a spin.
Yeah, it doesn't have a floodgate, so you just die.
Yeah.
Either
What about
you win on turn 3 or you just lose.
what about Hatchak? I've seen that a couple times around.
It's always there. People don't know how to play against it, but the good decks, Green Gohan's got a giant 8-drop,
Yeah.
triple strike you with the leader if you don't negate it. I mean, there's a lot of decks. A lot of things are dual attacking now. The one benefit to that deck is that Unisons have kind of fallen out of the format.
Yeah, so
that's
you're
one
not going
less
to get that
swing.
extra swing. Yeah.
But if you play a deck with a Unison, it's just like I played against Soul Striker the other day with it, and they had Unison, 8-drop Oob, Beast on. It's like, okay, well, the floodgate does nothing. All your cards are 8. Why is this happening? Beerus can swing 3 times.
Oh, because he's the only guy under. Yeah. Yeah, that's
Cool.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'll swing leader, Unison 3 times with Beerus. I'll play 8-drop Oob, double strike. If you counter, you gotta pay the tax.
yeah, every archetype has their 8-drop, double strike, dual attacker or whatever. So
Yeah, their power card.
yeah, they can just power through your floodgate effect.
Yeah.
But,
But Truncino is good. Truncino is definitely, it's been represented. It's topped. People are playing it. It's got big bodies that if you can't deal with it, it's a pain.
It's definitely real
So-
now.
Barrier removal, finally.
Serious barrier removal too, so behind a triple strike barrier. It's wacky.
It costs 3 energy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's somewhat reasonable. That the 5-drop Trunks never lives.
No, not from one turn to another. There's no
No.
chance.
So you have to pay 3 to go into that play. So
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
to get some
fair
riff in
enough.
the game.
Yeah, but the 3, I mean, for 3 energy, you're getting the drop setup, two 20k swings, and then a 30k trip, barrier, deflect, right? Deflect 2, warp whatever you
Yes.
want. That's pretty nice.
it's definitely nice. It's just black. The energy is so tight. It's like if you leave 1 up going into like going second on your turn 4, you
Oh, yeah.
pay 3 for that, and you leave 1 up, you just lose.
You can't do that against most of the top decks, no.
So you have to play that slow resource game. That's why I've been playing the 8-drop Cumber, because I feel like that can like
A
today
budget,
against-
yeah. An energy
against-
budget version, yeah, of the turn.
Yeah, against Dylan today, turn 4, I just tapped 2 for that and pinned his board. I don't have to worry about removing it for a whole turn. But some of the Trunzino lists are going quicker, playing the 7-drop from the anniversary box that comes out and clears 2 things and swings for crit. So there's ways to play that too. Supreme Kai of Time topped over the weekend. That's another deck that can go tall pretty quick. So if you don't have an answer on turn 3, you can lose.
That's pretty scary. Counter 2. What do you think of the new champ pack cards? Duds? Mostly, right?
I mean, yeah, they're very archetype based, so
Like a legacy support champ pack.
and I don't think
You
any of
prefer that
those
to-
actual decks are going to make an impact on the meta at all.
No, even I think the Paragus is probably the best one, and I tried it out, and it's like you can't play that into real decks. It's good against people that don't have an answer for that 4-cost Paragus on your turn. That generates a lot of value, but
I go
it's
play
every
apes
kind of
again.
something. You could.
Apes-
I mean, if you
apes
can,
that
if you can get the barrier ape, the King Vegeta out to give that guy barrier, then you've got something going on. But that's a lot of setup and a lot of energy. So I don't know if that's going to end up happening.
Still to this day, it's still the hardest thing to get out.
Yeah, if they ever make that easy to get out, though, that it's going to be disgusting.
Yeah, it's already disgusting. The few times that we have played it at locals.
Yeah, when a
just
man
getting the
just
5-drop
gets
out there, war cries, and gives
Unbreakable.
everything barrier. It even
Yeah.
gives the Piccolo Gohan barrier. I think.
Yep. Yeah, because it is a yellow thing. And it's pretty good.
It's
The
so funny.
Toa champ pack card was so close to being good if they didn't put Spirit Boost 1 on the auto.
Yeah, the 15k is basically a Kraken space time for any.
Yeah. Tap 1, give your Demon Realm Racer Demon God card in battle, 10k and double strike. So it's 15k and double strike.
It also
for 1
like
energy.
swaps, right? It does like another effect.
It's either for Deborah Swap or Token Toa, because those are the 2 decks that play unisons.
Yeah.
But if it could go in like set 18 Shroom and Salsa,
That'd be tight.
has a good resources. Now that Gogeta 8 is gone, that deck can live. But if you could tap 1 and double strike to catch people, that's something. I wish they'd print a few more of those archetype type cards, just so you would have a reason to play other things.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be. I mean, I do love these legacy support cards. It's weird. Do you like them as champ pack cards? Or do you prefer them as like TPs?
I prefer not having champ pack cards that cost $70, $80 if you didn't play in the event.
I think I agree with that statement. Those are that last wave before this one was. I mean, they're all must-haves pretty much for whatever their respective color is, except maybe Trunks.
If
don't
you're
really
going to
need
do
that.
that, don't put them in with crappy reprints that nobody wants. So you either pull a $0 card or an $80 card, and
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course this time
Yeah,
that time they also happened to not have a store champ, so we can get them from your locals. So that was cool. Very cool for them to do that.
That was funny. I feel it has to have been on purpose.
That was definitely on purpose. Yeah, because they knew those cards were good when they printed them.
But for what reason? They don't get anything out of the secondary market, do they?
Well, they want you to go to the events. That's probably what it was. They just probably want you to go.
I
to
get that,
the
but I
events.
mean,
but they're sabotaging themselves for these events. Like you saw, the European one over the weekend didn't sell out. It wasn't
Yeah, who's
very
gonna sign up
populated because
to pull these.
you got them all from store champs. The store champs, it would have been great if they would have just had both. Why not give out both packs?
Yeah,
At least put a few more of those in the marketplace so that people can.
I feel like they'll get reprinted much sooner than cards usually do, because that is a weird choice that they made.
Get them at Nats, right? That'll be
Yeah,
hopefully
it'll
before
probably be
then.
in that pack, or but even around that time. It usually takes a couple of months. I mean,
Like, I have
if enough
one yellow
people,
sin. Might
they'll
use
all be
that.
in the fucking the next year's anniversary set. After they're all banned or something, and look them out in the anniversary set. Everybody
Yeah,
will
ratted.
vote for them. Yeah, they'll all get errated, and then next year's collector selection will be all 5 of those cards.
That's usually how
Like-
it goes.
But still, not all complaints though. Those are just. It's easier to bring up the criticisms than the positive. I'm still enjoying playing right now. Revitalized.
It has been
Yeah.
great. Yeah, there's reasons to deck build. There's reasons to try stuff. You don't
Gamma
feel
was
instantly
just-
defeated.
I'm
You're
so
just playing
surprised
that deck.
Gamma lasted as long as it did.
That was stupid.
Like
But-
it's just dumb because like they never kept
Yeah.
around untapped 3. Man, that's like the dumbest thing in the world. And even before like Android 17 floodgate, man, that freaking the what was it, the Android 8 floodgate or 14? Was it 14? That's the floodgate.
Yeah, 14.
Freaking stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Well, a couple of factors there, right? Gamma had to exist so you could play against the red decks because otherwise those red decks would have just run over everything. It was really the only deck that had a chance at holding them. But they also do a poor job of future-proofing cards. Like they printed all this stuff for Android 21, and then half of it went into Gamma, and now Gamma was just. They did the same thing with Dark Broly. I love that deck. That deck was very good, but it wasn't to the insane levels until they printed the Gogeta thwarting, and now you've got 30k Gokus and Vegetas that got printed, and it just became like way too much for one deck. Where they could have leader locked some of this stuff, or prevented you from playing it. And they do it, and I don't know, they do it
They
in
do
the
it
weirdest
sometimes.
spots.
Yeah.
Like
If you've
that
got
ultimate
if the
deck-
deck is already bad, then they'll put an extra limitation on it.
Yeah, like the ultimate deck, Meki Kabora and Toa. Remember that
Yeah.
deck? Like all those cards are locked. Like you can't. It has to be Meki and Toa, or vice versa. The Meki Kabora cards are Meki Kabora only leader. It's like, why? Why does this need to happen? Meanwhile, Gamma gets to play the Android 21 floodgates. So,
Yeah, it just kept getting worse and worse for as long as it kept going out.
Yeah, maybe we'll get that big ban list one day that cleans up all the non-future proof stuff. It's going to be a clear problem heading forward.
Yeah. Well, right now, I think it's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, we got to figure this stuff out, and then we'll get to really bitching.
Yeah, how do you think this
Well,
meta is going
it'll
to...
probably be the next. I think the next like maybe 2 sets or so. It's gonna like really define it. I know it's like what, half a year, but
I hope they
Like
just
how
print the
long-
cards correctly in the next set. That would be
Yeah.
good.
So
Oh
true,
yeah, some
so
quality
true.
control would be nice.
So I guess to cap off this podcast, how do you guys think the meta is going to end up before next set rolls around? So we're going to figure stuff out. We're going to figure out how to beat Gohan. What's the counter to it? Another deck's going to step up?
It's gonna be some blue bullshit that draws like 90 cards, and then it's just gonna be another version of Crimson Goku. I promise you. Somebody will find a way to do that again, and then you'll not be able to beat it. You'll dump every card in your hand. They'll have somehow way too much combo. You'll pass, and they'll still have like 7 cards in their hand, and then you'll die. That's what's gonna be.
And every answer,
that's what I
every
was
one of your
doing with.
plays.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was doing with Swap. Just generically draws just a lot of cards.
Yeah,
and then-
it'll be something like that. I feel like. But we got to wait and see. Maybe it's just not possible. Maybe Gohan's hand rip plus the pressure plus the burn is too much to even try a slow strat like that. But that
Yeah, I mean,
usually
you probably
always
have to.
ends
You
up
might
being
have
more-
to do some shenanigans where you just have to not go in early game and just
generate as much
save your
value.
gates for the early game, big swings, and try to do it like that.
Yeah, just run them out of stuff.
Yeah,
Soul
Remove
Strike
on
will
your.
do it
remove
now.
on your
Right? I mean, Soul
that is.
Striker
I mean, that is how the
doesn't
game is played. If you boil it down to the most fundamental level, but you got to find the deck that does it the the most disgustingly stupid way possible, you know? And it'll always be something unassuming. It's just going to be like a bunch of generic blue cards, and you're like, how do you even win? And then they just do. You know, they just end up having more cards than you, so.
Yeah, maybe draw 2 ape or something. I'll come back again.
Yeah, it could be.
Just
Two
just
energy,
do
though.
a nice draw 2 and pass. That way you can outlive them.
Yeah, if
Outlive
the game
the
gets
green
slow
Gohan.
enough.
Yeah, you just it'll be something that can survive mid-range turns while not nagging too hard, and then just close out the game after drawing a billion cards.
They could fix
Yeah.
it. Fix the pseudo super combos, Infernal Villainy Cell and the Goku GT. They could leader lock or color lock those so you can't play them in blue.
Maybe, yeah, maybe that's the only color it's particularly gross in, but
Because between those and UI and Beerus and Sensu Bean lets them redo that. It's hard to out combo them. They play that combo game. Broly Surge, you played that game against me earlier this week. It's just a similar. Every time I swim, every time I swing, it's just I get out comboed. You draw a card. Somehow you end up better off in the exchange than I did for swinging, which is
yeah,
kind of
because
counterintuitive.
you wasted a whole card to tap it on board. That was your mistake.
Playing cards.
Yeah, you played a card.
Oops.
You're a fool. Yeah.
Did it draw a card? No? Okay, you negged.
Yeah, that's my thoughts.
The pre-release format was fun. Just doing that for a week because you play a different style. There's not as much removal.
Oh,
you can commit to the board and do that type of stuff.
It'd be nice if developing a board was still a viable strat, but
yeah, even having barrier doesn't matter, which is pretty funny.
The only way to do it, you would have to be able to shit out like 3 barrier cards a turn for you to quote unquote develop a board. So there will be something that does that, I'm sure.
Yeah, plus there's always that card that just freaking board wipes. So
yeah, so eventually even your developed board is going to go. Every secret rare, for example, that they've printed just wipes ignoring barrier. So we'll see. Maybe print a bunch of floaters if we bring a lot of floaters into the game. I brought it up before.
Yeah,
that's an answer for
the yellow flip crew stuff does that, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. The EX Evolve guys.
Maybe
so that would be a decent
They
idea.
could print more Bunny Girl light cards.
Exactly. Yeah. Just
punish your opponent for removing so much. It's a good idea.
Way to balance out this amount of removal at least. Or like have a bunch of leaders that have like a Vegito effect where when your card dies you draw. Although then you'd only play those leaders, so never mind. That's a bad idea.
Well, I mean, no one plays Vegitos, so it's obviously not
right. But like
thing.
make that style of leader
for every color.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. Delete that part because they're gonna do it. Somebody somewhere's gonna hear it.
Yeah, Bandai employees are watching this right now.
How many people are watching?
A few.
3. They all work for Bandai.
One of them is me.
Yeah, one of them
Oh.
from Bandai. So.
That's funny.
Me too.
All right. Well, you guys think you want to end it around here?
Yeah, I think that was okay.
Got some good discussion in there. So, thank you guys for being here for our very first live podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
See you.
Peace.